Well, greetings, YouTube. LMS Tactical here. I hope everybody's doing really good. I've been getting a lot of requests to weigh in on the verdicts for the officer. What was his name? Chauvin, that was charged with the murder of George Floyd. I'm sure most of you people that are not in the country are aware of it. It was a pretty big case. It was the one where the officer had the knee on the neck. I mean, that's debatable, but had his knee on either his neck or the top of his spine or whatever for a long period of time, 18, 19 minutes, and the guy died. So yesterday, I think what the fuck? Oh, I thought my camera just died. Yesterday, the verdict was read, and the officer was found guilty on all counts. And I'm not, like I said, I don't watch the news purposely because I don't want to get stressed out just ever since the elections, if you want to call them that. But I think he was charged with second-degree murder. At least that's one of the charges. And I can't remember the rest of it. Doesn't matter. He was found guilty. So what does Mike think about it? This was a hard one for me because there's so many different factors. And why is this thing so dark? Oh, well, you guys don't need to see me. Just hear me. There's so many different factors involved in that case. And again, this is just my opinion. I know not a lot of people aren't going to agree with it. It's just my opinion based on over 30 something years of police work, a lot of years of police work, and having arrested a lot of guys, that same situation that George Floyd was in terms of having, under the influence of drugs, not being cooperative, blah, blah, blah. You know, not wanting to get in the back of the car, not wanting to be handcuffed and all that shit. So I'm not surprised that he was found guilty on all the charges. Do I think justice was served? No. Here's why. I think that the jurors were going to find him guilty no matter what the evidence was because of the fact that there was so much public pressure put on it. You had also elected officials, Nancy Pelosi weighing in. You had the so-called alleged president, Joe Biden, weighing in. You had, what's her name, Maxine Waters, basically saying if he was only found guilty of manslaughter, they were going to get more confrontational in the streets. I mean, she was inciting riots. Look, people that were on the jury aren't stupid. They also understood that people would find out who they were and they would be threatened and blah, blah, blah. I believe that plays a part in it. We've seen this before. But let's put all of that aside, just for the sake of discussion. If, in my opinion, what would have been justice, because don't get me wrong, I think the officer, we'll call him the officer, Chauvin, I don't know his fucking name. I think he was bound and determined to go to jail. He put himself, and I know even one of my own good friends doesn't agree with me on this, but you know, this is just, like I said, this is my feelings. The totality of what happened that day, and with everything going on politically, which none of that should matter when you're talking about making an arrest and life and death. You know, in a perfect world, we would just go off of the facts. What was in the officer's mind? What was in the suspect's mind? What would a reasonable person do? And if you just took everything out of it, took all the politics out of it, you took all the anti-police shit out of it, you took all of the psycho-liberal leftist bullshit out of it, and you just looked at that arrest, it's fucked up. Because no matter what I do, and no matter how much I think on it, I have never been able to justify him keeping his knee. Quite frankly, I don't care where his knee was. If it was on his back, if it was on his neck, I believe what the experts say, that I choose to believe, that Floyd didn't die. The autopsy showed there was no injuries to the neck. Personally, I think George Floyd was going to die that day anyway. If you watch the whole video, he could not breathe. He was saying he couldn't breathe when he was still in his own vehicle. Okay? He had a lethal dose of mixed drugs that were that potentially fatal in his system. He was already complaining about not being able to breathe. And it just so happens that he tried to use a counterfeit $20 bill, got legally detained. He struggled. He got legally and by policy put on the ground. And then everything's good to go. I mean, look, I've had suspects die on me. I couldn't tell you how many times. A good example, when I was with the LAPD, this happened a lot to a lot of officers. You guys can chime in here. This was like a weekly event back in the 80s and 90s. You're chasing a guy, he reaches into his pocket, you see his hand go to his mouth. You catch him. Hey, what'd you put in your mouth? I didn't put nothing in my mouth. And this was always the way the conversation went. Dude, you're under arrest because you got 5 outstanding warrants and blah blah blah, but I saw you put something in your mouth, man. And if you put rock cocaine, enough of it in there, or you put something else in there, this could get you killed. This could cost you your life. No, man, I didn't put shit in my mouth. I didn't put shit. Okay, well, I want you to be seen by the fucking paramedic. And I ain't gonna be seen by shit. Just book me. Take me to jail and book me. And as they would sit either in the holding tank while I was running the rap sheet or whatever, or they were sitting on the bench, handcuffed to the bench, they'd break out into this unbelievable sweat and kill over, and they'd be tits up on the floor, deader than a doornail, and it would turn out that they'd swallowed 6 or 8 rocks of cocaine or whatever the fuck. Happened all the time. Very common. So I believe that this dude was destined to leave the planet that day. Take that out of the equation. I don't know what the fuck was in that officer's head. I watched the full video. Another officer, I think it was the Asian one of them said, hey, you want to sit him up? No, leave him where he is. Now let's look at all the surrounding things that were going on that make for bad optics. I hate that word, but it is what it is. People yelling, hey man, this guy can't breathe, you're killing him. Now that happens all the time with every arrest. The minute you get out and you talk to somebody that's not white, everybody starts thinking you're going to kill him. But in this case, the dude's saying, hey, I can't breathe. They're saying, hey, he can't. Just to fucking calm everything down, you had enough officers there, they should have swooped this guy up, rolled him over, sat him up on his ass, forced him up, put him in the fucking police car. Or if they were waiting for the ambulance, they could have leaned him against the fucking tire on the car and just stood guard over him. He's not going anywhere. There was enough of them to handle him if he stood up and wanted to go, fucking crazy. I just don't get it. So what does that mean legally? I think I would have been, if they found him guilty of manslaughter, I would have been okay with it. It still sucks because I know the cop didn't wake up that day and think, hey, I'm going to go out and fuck somebody up and kill him. I just don't know what the fuck he was thinking. I don't know nothing about the dude, but I have arrested more people than I could ever fucking count. And I just can't figure out any scenario where you would keep a guy down like that for that length of time. Especially in today's environment. And when you happen to be so white, you're pink, and the suspect's black, and you already know the issues that are going on right now in law enforcement, between law enforcement and the community. So I think he got fucked over. I don't know when the sentencing is. I'm just guessing he'll probably get sentenced to 25 years. He'll probably do 10 or 11. He's got no rap sheet. That's if they don't kill him in the joint, unfortunately. But he'll have protective custody. Anybody can be got to. Epstein was got to. Jeffrey Dahmer, the guy that used to eat people, he was in protective custody, and I think somebody beat him to death with a fucking mop stick or a mop handle. Anyone can be gotten to, just trust me on that. So there is no such thing as being fully protected. And, when guys are in prison and they got nothing else to lose and they're in there for life, 3 life sentences, they want to be the guy to get some creds. Hey, I shake the hand of the man that shook the hand of the guy that killed that fucking Chauvin guy or whatever. Well, I hope that doesn't happen. But I'm glad he's not a relative of mine. I'd be stressed out. Now let's look at the fucking crowds that had formed, and everybody was prepared to have cities burned and everything. We all know that if he would have been found guilty of manslaughter, the cities would be destroyed. If he was found innocent, the cities would be destroyed. Here he was found guilty on everything, and the last I saw this morning, there was videos of them jumping on police cars, smashing windows, stopping 18-wheelers, breaking windows. Same old bullshit. There are people in this society that just need the slightest excuse, and they're usually going to pick out some kind of injustice. But the truth is, they want to go fucking shopping and not spend any money. And let's face it, it's probably fun to fucking break windows and burn buildings down and not have to pay for it and not have any repercussions. On some weird level, they're not thinking, hey man, I'm fucking up my own neighborhood. So we were doomed. We are doomed. You add that to the mistaken taser thing where the chick shot the guy, thought she had her taser. You add all of this stuff that's going down, man, and things are not going to get any better. This convicting this guy, all that did was appease a certain segment of society in terms of politics, politically driven segment of the Pelosi's and the Maxine Waters and all the cop haters and BLM or whatever the fuck they are. So that's pretty unfortunate. And I've said this so many times, honest to God, I don't know why any police officer who even looks any shade of me, the color I am, I don't know why you would ever not do everything you could to avoid coming into contact with anybody. I mean, if you go out there and you get paid for 8 hours, do your 8 hours. You get a radio call, drive as slow as that freaking car will go. 1 inch every 5 hours just to get there. I mean, and if you find out that the guy is a minority, get out and pop your tire and give the call to somebody else. Say, I can't handle it. My tire blew up. It's about survival. They're taking away, they're trying their hardest to take away this, what is it called? This immunity where when you get sued as a cop, the city covers you because you're working and representing the city. Just like if you work at Taco Bell and you spill grease on somebody, you don't sue the person that spilled the grease personally, you sue Taco Bell. Well, that's why people are willing to go to work and carry a gun all day long and get face to face with bad guys, is they're covered by their city because they're working in that capacity. Well, the liberals are trying to take that away so that you could go after these guys personally, and I can't think of one person who would voluntarily want to be a cop and wear a badge under those circumstances, risking everything, your wife, your kids, your house, everything. To me, that's just ridiculous. But eventually, like I said, the good ones are already retiring, the good ones are already leaving, the good candidates have changed their mind, and you are going to have some semblance of law enforcement that will be so fucked up, you guys will dream for the days that we had guys running around with sticks in their hand knocking people out for fucking looking at them wrong. That's an exaggeration, but you wait and see. Then to top it off, you got Greg Gutfeld from Fox News, which I don't watch, but somebody sent me a clip, and here's old Greg Gutfeld. I couldn't believe it. I'm paraphrasing. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, that whether he was guilty or not, I'm glad they found him guilty on all charges. Even if he wasn't guilty of all charges. He said that. And they're like, what? Why? And he said, because I had my neighborhood looted and I don't want to go through that again. So you actually have, academically intelligent people who are willing to give up all forms of justice just in order to stay safe. And if you give up all justice and everything that's righteous in order to stay safe, you don't deserve to live, in my opinion. Not in a free society. I mean, you don't throw one person, no matter who it is, you don't throw them to the wolves just so that your fucking house don't get touched. Greg Gutfeld has convinced me that he is the epitome of what's wrong with America. A bunch of, really fast, loud talking, academically intelligent, weak non-combatants who have no real understanding of what this country was about and why so many people have died to keep this country the way it used to be. And I'll end it with this, man. If you're my age or older than, let's say, 5 years old, you are living in you actually saw the last time that America was truly a free country, because I don't think you're ever going to see that again. What's happening now so fast and furious on the law enforcement front, the freedom of speech front, the fucking big tech destroying. Big tech is like a third or fourth branch of government, and they're the ones that are ruling the entire world. With all of that and these bullshit vaccinations that, nobody knows what the fuck's going on. Just remember, we were all warned, everything was laid out. If you believe, everything was laid out in the Bible. So I don't know why anybody that believes in Christianity or believes that the words of the Bible are true or semi-true, nobody should be surprised at what's happening. It's going to get really, really bad before it gets really, really good. And all the things that are good and are going to be turned around and be viewed as bad. Everything that was bad will be viewed as good. And I'm not a super religious guy, but I know enough to know that none of this should surprise anybody. So you hang on and you just hang on for the ride, and never forget, none of us get out alive. We're all going to die. It doesn't matter how we die or when we die. What matters is how we live. Okay? Whether I got 5 seconds or 5 years to live, just live and stay true to yourself, stay true to your beliefs, and get as much out of every fucking day and every minute as you can. It's what I used to tell you South Africans when all hell was breaking loose. Don't forget to laugh every day. Don't forget to smile every day. Back during the Blitz in World War II, people would come out between bombings and they'd have weddings and shit. Humanity is strong and tough and can persevere. You can't throw in the towel. You can't sit there and pull your hair out and say, why me, why me? It's not you, it's all of us. And we're all in it together. And, we just got to make sure we're happy. When I get done with this, I'm going to go kiss my wife who just got home. And then I'll go out and play with the dogs. And I'm not going to think about this shit. I don't think about it all day because it's not healthy. It's counterproductive. Don't get locked into it because it's just going to drag you down and make your life, whatever time you have left, you want to have more good than bad. Enough of my speech. Hope you guys are doing good. LMS Tactical. Stay safe. I'm out.